for it with a song, right? But beyond that, what you're doing is that you're creating
a wedge
between people who would have ordinarily come together over a particular issue. But does it take away if it's possible to use the word, the rightness or wrongness of this entire process, whereby these things are out in the open? Is there a problem? The sentiments have been shared. Interestingly enough, we've been inundated with these messages between yesterday and today, where there are folks who are asking from their place where, Kenya is not a bad place. I kind of like it. I like the way you do things. So can I not have an ID? They genuinely believe that they can have an ID because they like the country. And Kenyans are saying, sorry, folks, but that's not how it works. Either you are a citizen of this nation by birth, by natural attrition, by marriage, or by, you've lived here for some time. So we say, okay, well, you've been here, so let's pony up an ID. Those are the circumstances under which you can be a Kenyan. But for you to come and say, well, I have 15,000 shillings, can I get an ID? It's a bit far off the mark.
I had a very interesting conversation on the plane as I was coming from Addis Ababa with a fellow Kenyan who is a Canadian by origin. And as we were having this conversation, it was very interesting because he's married in the Rift Valley. And this fellow citizen is originally a Canadian. He still carries a Canadian passport because as a Kenyan, you have dual citizenship. And I began to think about how generous we have become as a country in terms of citizenship since 2010, when we enacted the new constitution. We have become extremely generous, which is good. And it was also meant to favor us so that we don't have somebody migunad. In other words, you are a Kenyan, but because you are carrying a Canadian passport, and of course you don't have a Kenyan passport because you are not, we didn't have the issue of dual citizenship, then you find the Miguna tragedy visiting us. So to deal with the Miguna tragedy and to expand citizenship for those who are not Kenyans but are within Kenyan families, we did that. So there is no need to buy or sell identity cards to anybody, and unless you are engaged in criminal activity. It is not very difficult for any of our neighbors to become a Kenyan citizen. Take for example, I don't need anything to go to Ethiopia. I just need to just go in with my passport. They punch it. They don't even ask for anything. I just go in. They don't even ask how long I'm going to be in Ethiopia. The only place they ask me is, where are you staying? Because they don't want you to sleep out and be in the indoor and get your, whatever diseases. So in short, that's how easy it is. And Ethiopia is not part of the East African community. Countries that are parts of the East African community can come in. The Somalis, from December, if all goes well, will walk in and out of Kenya if we are able to push that, because that is the agenda of the East African community.
But to become Kenyan?
No, to do their business. So Kenya is not a restrictive country where you can do business. So when it comes to buying and selling of identity cards, that's a criminal activity. And we must sound it out as a criminal venture. It is not about, creating new citizens. And that's why I started at the beginning by talking about the criminalization of the state, because that's what we are now witnessing by the people who are supposed to be protecting the sovereignty, the dignity, and the rights of this country and its population. But let me talk about the business, which is even more dangerous and even more ridiculous, I would say, verging on total criminality. Now, as you are selling an ID card at 15,000 Kenya shillings to the Kushites, because these are now the ready customers, so that they can now beef the Cushitic cluster within Kenya to back up the Nilotic cluster, and then you counter the Bantu cluster, which is now the cousins, as they are called. The cousins, the Kuzos. The Kuzos. Now, in order to counter the Kuzos, you now have to build this front of the Nilotic speakers and the Cushitic speakers. And because their population will not do the job, then you have to buy cards. But what are you doing on the other hand? You are now reducing the population of the Kuzos. How? You're buying identity cards at 5,000. If you go to what is happening in Karao or Karao. I don't know whether you're buying to destroy or you're buying to do, but 5,000. Another one Somali identity cards buys three. Bantu votes.
Oh, God.
So, in other words, you are reducing the power of one demographic category and increasing the power of another category, right? So there's a very strict mathematics, and I don't know in which boardroom or rather which war room, campaign war room they were in, because this is what is happening. So you're buying one Somali, you are issuing one Somali card, which is basically selling. You are selling an ID at 15,000 shillings and buying 3 ID cards using the same. These are devil's mathematics.
So what we're saying is criminal.
It's criminal. Yeah. There's nothing less than criminal. This is utterly criminal. It is a total violation of our Kenyan sovereignty as a nation. Because the debate we should be having is how we should be collapsing the borders between Kenya and Somalia.
Yeah.
So the Somalis can come in with their identity cards and their passports and come and do their business here. We need big populations in order to have serious business. So they should come in hordes. They should even come in from Ethiopia, the Ogaden region. Let them come in. Let them come from Djibouti and do their business here. But let's not violate our country for the purpose of winning an election. It's immoral.